Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Jam and Cheese Show, Meat Midweek Matters. Today, we've got Cheese in, fresh from surgery, but also joined by Charlie White, 'cause it has been a while, Charlie.
It has been a while. Jimmy, how you going, mate?
I'm doing fantastic. We've got some things to dive into. To address.
I thought that's why I came on today. I thought it's like, oh, are you going to jump in with us? I thought, he's got something.
You've got to ask some prying questions because you don't want us to take the soft option. But firstly, Cheese, surgery on Thursday. How did it go?
I mean, it was good. Like everything went well, but yeah, they sort of had to do surgery on my medial anyways. So it was pretty annoying that we waited around in a brace for 3 weeks and found out the news, and it's pretty sore, eh? So yeah, pretty upset about that.
How's I guess the recovery going? You're pretty much housebound.
Oh, I've been in bed. This is the first time I've left the house. First time I've actually been down the stairs. So yeah, it's it's weird when the blood rushes there, but apparently I've got to get used to that. Sam Walker said. But yeah, I haven't really done anything. I've just been watching TV. I stayed in hospital for an extra 2 nights. So
did you watch the game?
Yeah,
from
watched the
hospital
game from hospital. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
It was. What have you been watching?
Prison Break.
That's all. That's.
I've rewatching it. I haven't seen all the new seasons, so I think I watched season 1 and 2, but been watching Prison Break and some old Melbourne Storm games just to see if I can get the no on them and
just tip the boys off.
Give some advice.
Give Robbo some advice, but he'll probably just be like, mate, fuck off.
It's funny the gossip world of rugby league as well, because you're saying you're at the hospital. A journo actually said to me on Monday, like, oh, where was Cheese? What's going on with him? He wasn't at the game. Like, oh yeah, he got surgery. He got surgery, so he wasn't there.
I told Cheese that on the way in. Like, it's mad. Like, rugby league.
Where would he be? He must have fallen out with Robbo.
Yeah. Oh, there's something going on there. It's like, no, he's in hospital.
Yeah, like getting his ACL surgery.
Yeah.
Have you got a little bell then to ring the missus to go get your stuff? And
no, usually she can just hear when I'm pissing in the bottle. Swish it around.
The lid's not on. The lid's not on. Hopefully that is just water and not urine.
Yeah.
You know, how are you going with the meds? Like, they trip you out a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I'm on my second script already. It's pretty damn sore, right? So I'm eating a lot of painkillers.
I can remember having like
they make me sweat too.
Do they?
Yeah, like bad.
I remember having
and saving birds.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment, because that Charlie was blowing up about why we're not on time. But I was just gonna say, like, I can remember having surgery on my groins and having this pain medication, and like coming up with all these ideas about how to defend with 12 men. And I think I rang Des and was trying to explain to him. I don't think he listened, but I remember like.
Maybe that's what I'm trying to do with Robbo. I'm watching these old games going, fuck.
It makes you very...
I know where to get these guys.
It gets you very creative. Like the pain medication used to be like, I was like, right, if we're with 12, we get someone Simbin or sent off. Right, it was like, basically I designed this pendulum system and almost how you'd make a sub and you'd sub either your winger or your fullback off to make sure that you, depending on who got Simbined or sent off, and you play like a pendulum with 2 fullbacks, that would be the winger. And I was like convinced it was going to like change the game, but it didn't.
Did you ever try it out?
God no, man. I was in a hospital bed, like thinking about the game, and like I probably was incoherent. Like it made sense to me. I mean, you know, if there's any aspiring coaches out there, obviously we've gone through the the Project Pep. You know, there's maybe Project Play with 12. How to mastermind playing with 12 players defensively.
How is Project Wrestling going as well? Because I heard you're still training every week for it.
I missed last week's training because of the marathon. I was in recovery after that, but I'm literally going after this, Charlie. So.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Have you? And the name's British Bulldog.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. You mentioned about cheese saving birds. Well, that's why we were late, because Brandon Smith, reputation goes before him. People just see him as this larrikin footballer, but actually saved a life today, didn't you, Brandon?
I don't know if I saved it yet.
Or is it still in the balance? All right, I'll be back.
But
I'll be back.
I was sitting on the couch waiting for Jimmy because he was a bit late.
Also, you weren't late because the birds then. So you weren't late for that reason. You were just late, and the birds is a separate thing. Interesting.
Well,
interesting. Carry on. Sorry, mate. Carry on.
And I just heard this loud dunk. And I was like, what the hell is that? And I looked over at my window and I could see like feathers everywhere. I was like, oh shit. No, like crouched over onto the thing, and on the roof there was just this bird, and it was upside down. And mate, it looked fucked. But it looked like I could tell it was still alive. And the other birds were just looking at it going, ah, ah, ah. It's like, but then I noticed that it was a kingfisher. And I was like, that's a decent bird. Like, if it was a seagull, I'm probably pushing it off the roof. But it's a kingfisher.
What is a kingfisher?
You never seen a kingfisher?
No, I might Google it quickly.
They're like the
type of bird.
Oh, cheers.
A kingfisher bird. They're beautiful.
Oh, cute. Yeah, cute.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're a bit of a speciesist.
Oh,
Like, kingfishers in, seagulls out.
Yeah, seagulls
Where'd
are
you draw the
gone.
line?
Well, at how annoying they are. Can a kingfisher ruin a lunch? No. Can a seagull? Yes.
Okay.
But anyways, back to my story. And then I was still waiting for Jimmy. He was probably about 20 minutes late. And I'd opened the window up in the roof and like put my crutch out, one hand, lean out the window and like scoop the bird over.
That would do more damage than out.
And I was like, fuck. And then I've like leant over, and then by this time I'm just dripping sweat. And then I've rang up my Mrs. Mum, who's a vet, and she's told me to put a hot water bottle in a basket. Mind you, this is fucking hard to do. This is my first time. This is my first time coming down the stairs. And like hot water bottle, fill it up, boiling the jug, mate. All that was torture. And then like as I've got out the house, I've realised like my cat's in there, and if it gets a hold of that bird, it's fucked. But I couldn't turn around by then. Jimmy was there, so.
The only thing about saving birds, I reckon vets don't want that. Like, what the vets are so busy
It's
with,
a
like,
kingfisher though.
yeah,
so
but who
you wouldn't
cares?
know.
It's just a wild bird. It's like it's been out in the wild. It's fucked up. It deserves to die. Then at that point,
This
because
is-
it's his mistake or her mistake. You know, the vets don't want wild birds coming through. It's like bringing
What
a
about a
rat in. A parrot? Who cares? It's not. It's a wild. It's a
parrot,
wild
though.
bird, but it's a wild bird. It's not like it's like finding an injured rat and bringing it in and to the vet and be like, oh, look at this rat. Like, what do we want to do with that? We got fucking bigger fish to fry.
No, they don't, because they wouldn't fry the fish. That's a phrase that you wouldn't use as a vet.
Or maybe you would,
Be
though.
like-
Maybe you would.
Sorry, guys.
What are the bigger fish to fry?
Well, like dogs, cats, pets that are pets. Like
Mate.
vets look after pets.
You don't fry dogs in this country.
Well, you actually do. When you put them down, you can cremate them.
Yeah, but you don't fry them.
Well, what do you do? That's what half the vets do. They're just cremating dogs, just putting down dogs. That's most of their day. That's most of a vet's day.
What, like euthanasia of a
Yeah,
vet?
that would be most
I mean,
of it.
euthanasia
because
of a
like
dog.
also
Cremating dogs is. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, you
I'm
can-
pretty sure fixing like little side injuries would be their main.
yeah, but it's so expensive. You're just better off
I
putting
don't
your
think they're
animal
just
down. aren't
cremating
you?
20 dogs a day.
I reckon half the day would be that.
It's a big dilemma that for like a lot of families out there, because I reckon the vets, like the price,
They see you coming.
you know.
Our family always put our dogs down whenever they got like sick. Well, it's only happened once. But
they- technically you're right.
They're like,
It'll-
oh, we can do this stuff. It's like, don't worry
And that's
about it.
why you wouldn't save a bird.
I wouldn't
you
save a
grew up
bird.
in a family that just burnt dogs when they were sick.
Nah, too expensive to burn dogs as well. Like you can cremate it, but that costs a fortune. But you can just throw them in the bin as well. They just toss them in a bin.
At the vet,
Yeah,
or
because
the white family.
No. They toss them in the bin, like the vets do. They put them down. It's very sad, actually. It's an awful experience. I was in the room when my dog died. But then they just take the dog and throw it in the bin.
Mate, what do you mean what? There's got to be a special type of bin for like.
Oh, maybe, but like it's trash, I guess. It's
Just put it in landfill.
yeah, they would go in land. Where else is it going to go? They don't bury them in the ground.
I actually buried my kitten, Cornflakes,
When?
when I was younger. Got hit by a car, so I buried it.
Oh,
Did you make a little gravestone?
Yeah. I don't know if it's still standing today. It was just two sticks, but
Oh, right. So nothing written on it. No.
So you're an animal man. You're a sweet, you care about
Well, I
animals.
care about life, Charlie, unlike you.
Yeah. You don't have any pets, do you?
No.
No, I reckon you'd more lean with me.
Yeah, look, not really a pet person. And I think I might have said this before. When I was like early 20s, I was really looking into getting a parrot, like an African grey, so I could someone to chat to and basically do phrases with. But then, upon further investigation, they lived to like 80.
Wow.
So I was like going to take this bird on at like early 20s, thinking maybe I'll get like a couple of years of like companionship. I was like, I'm not knocking around with this bird for the rest of my life. Like, are you mad?
That's fucking insane. 80.
Yeah, they live for ages, and there's no guarantees that they talk. So like, I'm knowing my luck, I'd get this like
Mute parrot
that was like just gonna follow me. And I had ambitions to come to Australia. I was like, I'm not paying for that.
Yeah.
Like, no.
What would you do? Just fly your own way, fly yourself over.
Meet you there.
Here's where we're going.
Give the address.
Oh.
Yeah. No, never been much of a pet person. My two kids are pushing that at the moment. They want a dog. Oh, actually, a mate of mine got a dog. With the dog, needs a new fence. Have a guess how much they're quoting for this new fence?
I've only ever lived in apartments, so I'm not sure.
40 grand.
Wait, how big's their house?
Well, not that big, just a normal knockabout house, but like it's 40 grand.
Take the dog back.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, why do you need a new fence for a dog? That sounds like he's being a bit precious as well.
I don't know. He's not. I don't think it was his call to get the pet. I think it was the wife and kids. They got this dog and, oh yeah, new fence can't be that much. 40 grand. I reckon he's being fleeced though. So if there's any fence erectors around the Shire, want to install my friend's fence for under 40 grand, get in touch with the show. But yeah, Charlie, it is good to have you back on board. It has been a while, hasn't it?
It has, mate. It has. Good to be back. It's good to be back.
New information come to light, the five-a-side scene, basketball scene.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Carving up in Glebe there. Monday night, social basketball.
Calling yourself white chocolate.
I don't call myself that, but that's what the people call me, white chocolate.
Why do they call you white chocolate?
I don't know, to be honest. My surname's White,
Yeah.
and I move majestically.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else have you got there?
No, I can't, I'm trying to think. I should compile a list.
Yeah. Jordan was trying to give you some dirt on Friday night.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
he was, yeah, yeah.
He did. Did I
He
write
did.
that in my notes?
He did give you some dirt, but anyway, we should move. People don't care about what I'm up to in my life. They more care about the footy.
Easy there, white chocolate. What's that? White chicks.
Yeah. That's
Oh, I thought I'd written in my notes, but I obviously
Easy there,
haven't.
White chocolate.
Yeah. What about the Roosters rap group as well?
What did Jordan tell me on?
Oh, if you don't remember, I'm not going to give it to you, obviously.
Yeah, the Roosters dropping a 20-track album. Oof.
Geez, again, why do they sound American?
I don't know. It's their persona. They do it. They do it all the time. It's weird as.
Do you listen to any of the songs?
Yeah, well, I have to. They
away
play
from-
them. They play them in the sheds until your ears bleed.
Always had a bit of an issue with players with the ghetto blaster. Like,
Nah,
maybe
it's-
I just want to listen
These
to what I
days,
want to
it's these days it's airplay. It's just the whole stadium is just connected to their phones.
And it's just that music coming out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do they play it on the team bus and stuff?
Yeah.
I haven't heard any of the thing. I just heard that little thing that saw that clip online. It seemed pretty average. I like my hip hop, and I've got to be honest, they sound shit. Like all of them. Like, good on them, make your album,
Whoa.
but it wasn't that good.
Basically, if they weren't footballers,
Yeah,
no
they're
one's
not getting a
down- no.
chance.
And then, I reckon you've got to make a choice. You can either be a musician or a footballer. Like Dale Finucane, better footballer.
Yeah,
You know, bit of a side hustle, but he wasn't dropping an album. But the lads at the Roosters, I reckon, yeah. I mean,
Is there any truth to this?
Yeah, it's legit. They're getting in a record studio. Who is it? Joey Manu? Siwa Wong?
They've been doing it for ages.
Spencer
Suoli'i.
or not?
No, not Spencer.
Suoli'i? Yeah.
Yeah, Satili.
Satili as well? Okay.
They're all breaking up as well.
Yeah. I think it's the last dance.
Maybe they'd be like the Spice Girls or take that and
Yeah.
come back and do a world tour. Or Oasis, the reunion tour, you know? The Roosters rap group.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Let's talk some footy though, boys, because we've waffled on for a while now.
Well, yeah, well, that is footy.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Kalyn Ponga has snubbed the Kangaroos, boys. He's not going to play for them. He released a statement, or Newcastle released a statement, basically Ponga saying he wants to win a comp and focus on the Newcastle Knights. It's a strange one because obviously the NRL, the rules state that you can't rule yourself out of contention unless for injury. So there is a chance that he could be punished by the NRL, and they're even talking about suspending him for NRL games next year.
Yeah, well, for me, the international game should be the absolute pedestal. We know that Origin has overtaken that, but you really, as a player, should want to represent your country. Like, I know for me, I'd do anything to play for England, like delay surgery, continue with painkiller injections in order to play, because one thing, it meant so much to me, but also it was, for the overwhelming majority, it was a great time and a great opportunity. But obviously the NRL have got these rules in place. You know, I think a suspension, like, that would be tough to take. But I think more importantly, for Ponga to say something like this, like, you've got to be careful because people will hold you to account for that. So if you finish the regular season and then drop out of the international fixtures and say, I'm doing this in order to win a comp, then with that comes well, are you allowed to go on holiday? Are you allowed to go for Christmas drinks? Like, where does that go? Well, hang on, you sacrifice this, but then you're going to have what people would perceive as like a good, fun time that's not totally dedicating yourself to the Knights winning the Premiership. And we know rest is important and all that, and downtime is important. But people will look at that and go, well, hang on, you know, Kalyn, you said you were going to give up the Kangaroos. Were you giving it up for a holiday, or were you giving it up for the Knights to win a Premiership? So you got to be very, very careful when you publicly state something like that, because people will be quick to jump on it.
I can't believe that you can get banned for not playing. Like, I understand, but I would love to play for the Kiwis at the end of the year. It'd be great, but surely you have a choice. I feel like a lot of his freedom's taken away.
I think if you're injured and you have a legitimate reason, like, he wouldn't be the first person to miss out. But I think that for the NRL to, I guess, police this by sanctioning Kalyn Ponga with a ban, I guess it's their way of upholding the importance and integrity of the international and state of origin representative arena.
What's he? Is he guaranteed to play?
Well, you know what? You make a good point, Cheese, because the fullbacks, Edwards, Tedesco,
He's not in front of those two. Like, why?
Maybe as a full. Well, I think obviously this has come to light because Mal Meninga in Australia would have wanted him to play.
Mal was going to pick him.
Yeah,
Mal was going to pick him.
As fullback?
Well, fullback, but he could have played 14 off the bench as well. He could, but also they've got a couple games, so he's probably going to rotate guys through. But it's a strange one because also it's been handled stupidly by Newcastle and Kalyn Ponga. Like, all you have to do is just say you're injured, or say you picked up a knock, or it's so easy to get out of it. You don't need to release a stupid statement saying, "Oh yeah, I want to win a comp and focus on that." All you have to do is just say you're injured and you're sweet.
Yeah,
like, that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
But the Knights obviously didn't know the rules or something, and they've made this situation for Ponga. Like, what he could do now though is say, "I'm just focusing on my mental health as well," and get it.
Look, we don't want to encourage people to lie, but I'm sure there'd be a level of injury there that
like he's sort of lying, anyways. He's not fucking taking it off to win a premiership for the Knights. It's, like that's for certain. Like I could come out and say, "Oh, I don't want to play for the Kiwis because I want to win a comp with the Roosters." Like, I've always wanted to win a comp with the Roosters before I fucking wanted to play for the Kiwis. Like he's lying already.
Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive. Like you can play for Australia and still try your best for Newcastle, right? And that's my point about the everything in this next off season, where the focus will be on him and his decisions. It's like, you know, why just playing 3 games for the Kangaroos like make you not? You're still going to get your time off. You're still going to train. Like it's an issue that every team has to go through, where star players will be in camp. You know what? Geez, probably the reason the NRL would do that is to discourage other teams from taking this course of action. Because why is it fair that Newcastle's best player is in there for the whole preseason, and then Penrith would lose Leota, maybe Cleary, Edwards to representative football? Why would the Bulldogs lose Crichton and kick out to representative football? Why will the Roosters lose their representative crop? Like, other teams would cry foul and say, well, you don't think that the international representatives in our club, you think they don't want to win a comp?
That does make a lot of sense. Like, I understand what you're saying. I think that's a good point, because like a lot of clubs could tell their best players, mate, we don't want you to play.
Yeah.
And we want you to be.
And we know that's happened before.
Yeah, it's definitely happened.
Like when players are on the verge of getting surgery and they're like, well, am I going to delay it 6 weeks? Or in this case, it would be a month. Like, is it worth delaying it? And like, oh, no, let's get you in now. Let's get you right for next season. It might be the difference between playing round 1 and not playing round 1, or being back in January, not being back in January. We know that happens, and those are difficult dilemmas. But for me, like, you really should want to play for your country.
Yeah.
Like, if this was an All Blacks jersey, which I know Kalyn Ponga has spoken about before, if it was the All Blacks, I don't think he's making this decision.
No, he was snubbed last year from the team as well.
Yeah.
By Mal Meninga. So there's a chance that could have played in the decision. But looking at this, I think it's pretty obvious that Newcastle have said to him, we'd rather you don't play. They're the ones that have released a statement. Like, I don't know. I think he would have had pressure put on him by Adam O'Brien and the Newcastle crew.
I reckon he just wants to go on holiday.
Yeah, I don't know.
I reckon he's just chilling.
What seems strange, Charlie, is the fact that like Ponga released a statement, Newcastle come out. It's like they're not aligned.
No, but the statement came from Newcastle's website. So the Newcastle media team released the Ponga statement. Ponga didn't do a statement by himself.
I think they just fucked up. I think they lied, but they lied the wrong way. They should have just lied and said he was injured rather than lie and say, "Oh, I'm focusing on a premiership."
Yeah.
Just come out and say, "I want to go on holidays and I'm injured."
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a good look as well for what the NRL are trying to do with the international game. And we've got the Ashes coming up next year, World Cup the year after here in Australia. Like, it should be the pinnacle, the pedestal, but unfortunately, for a multitude of different reasons, it's not what it once was. Like, we spoke to Wayne Pearce about the 86 Kangaroos. I think it was
82. I think 86 was when he got injured and couldn't go. Maybe.
No, that was the one that he missed. He went in 82.
Yeah.
86, he was quote unquote injured.
Yeah.
Felt as if he was probably right to play. Excuse me. And that still burns him, like, because it was a great time. But things have changed, and
but Kalyn Ponga's also taking a huge risk moving forward, because I don't like, if you're Mal Meninga and then the World Cup comes around, you go, oh, you didn't want to play that year. You're not in this year. And fullback's one of those positions where there's so many options. So Ponga might have, I don't know, ended his international career by doing something like this, as long as Mal Meninga's a coach. You don't know.
No, I'm with you.
Before we move on to the games as well, Peter V'landys has come out and spoken about coaches and players being managed by the same agents. and has called it a conflict of interest. It's kind of a strange one. So obviously tough for Cheese to talk about as well. But he's looking at reviewing that in the off-season to separate it so coaches can't, agents can't manage coaches and players together.
They're 100% correct that it is a conflict of interest and they shouldn't be, but it's almost impossible to police. Like, impossible. So you can have, let's call them secret agent A, who manages a multitude of current players and coaches. The NRL enact enforce a ban or make that practice illegal. And secret agent A goes, okay, sweet. Like, that wouldn't be the only person working for secret agent A. They would also have a multitude of people working for them. They split that client base to secret agent A plus B, who's already under the umbrella of secret agent A. And therefore, there is no conflict of interest, but basically it's all done by the same secret agent.
It's the same when like an agent gets banned and then they're still running the show.
Yeah.
I guess what? You could look at like the records of, well, you could ask to see communication records and things like that, but I don't know. Look, it is an issue, but is it worth the NRL putting in like limited the resources that they have into solving this problem when the current agents will just go around it in a different way? Like, it's a bit of a game of cat and mouse. I don't know if it's worth. It's just, I guess it's one of those problems that can probably never be solved.
The only thing you could do as well is, because one of the main issues is a certain number of agents controlling a high number of coaches. And there is one agent in particular who manages about 60 of different coaches. Could you restrict the number of coaches that one company could manage?
But, well, again, it just comes back to that. Like, how do you police that?
Yeah. Like, he'd just have people working for him doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But also, if you're a coach and you go to like an agency that already looks after a decent number of coaches, like, what makes you think you're going to be the next cab off the rank there? Like, how are you going to jump those? Like, we know agents can be influential in retention, recruitment of players and coaches, but if you're an aspiring coach, why would you go with an agent that already has a decent stock? Doesn't make sense to me.
No, but at the same time, though, if that person's got a decent number of stock, they've got more influence in the game then, don't they? So then when opportunities become available, they've got the buttons to press to get that person front and center. Yeah,
no, most definitely, yeah.
And coaches, a lot of the time, the coaches that get hired, it does come down a lot of the time to media pressure. And who's come, like, I mean, even, what have we seen recently? Jason Riles became the hot name. And every job that pops up, he's getting put there front and center. The media mentions him with everything. You know, so having that power, like, to be fair, if you're a coach, you'd want to be managed by Isaac Moses. He's got six of the coaches.
And what are you suggesting that, like, with that media, because the media is important and that does influence, but are you suggesting that the agent pushes a client through the media they're not doing that for out of the goodness of the heart, the person in the media. It's that those type of relationships. That's what happens in sport. It would happen in all the big sporting leagues across the country and across the world, to be honest. So I just don't know if there's a way that I don't think this is a problem that would be exclusive to the NRL for the NRL to try and sort out. I imagine the same thing would be happening in the AFL. Same thing would happen in sports like cricket, in soccer. No doubt it happens. That certain player agents have a lot of influence in what is spoken about, what's not spoken about, and I just don't know if it's a problem even attempting to solve.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Should we get into just some rugby league chat then?
Let's get into it.
I'm so out of touch with that chat.
You're like, give me some meds. give me some meds. Should we get into who's got to cook first before we preview the games? Bring cheese in. My muscle chef fueling everybody every goal. I've been onto their recovery bars. Jeez, they're amazing. They got the BC.
The ones that Charlie finally gave you, or
well, he gave me some bars. Didn't give me many meals, but I like these protein bars. They got all the electrolytes, all the recoveries, the brand chain amino acids in them. They are like
BCAAs.
BCAA. I've never seen a bar with those in. It's either protein bar or whatever, like an energy bar. But this is
what kind of bar?
Like a
recovery bars, they're called. They're recovery bars, aren't they?
Yeah,
Is it like a muesli bar?
No. It's like a protein bar, but it's got all the recovery stuff in.
Ah.
Yeah,
Delicious as well.
They are good.
Yeah.
But I like the recovery aspect of it. Just on Charlie taking all the meals, like I had a little feel of him the other day, and I was like,
It's my muscle
"Geez,
chef.
That's like they call him white chocolate now. See?
mate." He's gonna be built like a brick shithouse if he keeps on going.
We
The
probably
white
need a
Terry
fresh
Crews.
order as well. We
Yeah.
need a fresh order.
Yeah.
My muscle chef, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Delivered to me again if possible.
Well, no, just
I actually can't cook at the moment, gentlemen, so
oh, so it's perfect for you.
it would be nice if you guys could let me
We'll
have
sort,
some
I'm sure
time.
they'll sleep something out, cheese for sure.
and
I'll get it delivered to me and then I'll bring it over and chop it off.
yeah. You've still got all. Have you all my meals? Because
Meals are good. Now, obviously, you got a handful of meals yourself and you enjoyed them. They were
I
delicious.
haven't.
Yeah, you did.
I haven't received any. I've eaten all the bars.
Yeah.
The meals you kept at your
Nah,
house.
well, the meals are all gone now. They've all been consumed.
Do you eat the bars at the appropriate time, or do you,
What do you mean?
when you're hungry, you just go? Oof.
Oh, mate, the bars are great. Like, they're like a little treat with a cup of tea or a coffee. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who have you got to cook this weekend, Cheese?
I'm gonna say Jared Waria-Hargreaves. I think they need him to start the game fast. Take the I guess. Fuck, what's the word? Take the game to them. Aggression. I think it's one in the middle. This game for the Roosters, it's one in the middle. I think that's where we have the upper hand against them. If you look at our middle and how good we are, and Jared is our physical sort of leader, and I think that he needs to start well, and everyone needs to get off the back of it.
Few little chef hands there as well with Spencer Lenu, Lindsay Collins helping him out. They'd be chopping up the ingredients, giving it to Jared to cook up a masterpiece.
Yeah, well, Jared's the steak, I think. Lindsay and Spencer the salt and pepper go on the side.
It's good as well. It's the last time him and Big Nelson will come up against each other as well, which will be good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, Jared's got a pretty good win rate against Melbourne, I'm pretty sure. So
Well, not in the last 11 games. You've
yeah,
lost
but
the
he
last-
hasn't played
you've
a
lost
lot of
10
those.
last
He hasn't
11.
played a lot of those games.
Okay.
Because a lot of those games I played Roosters, Jared didn't play.
Yeah, right.
Like if I played for Storm, Jared didn't play in a lot of them.
yeah, right.
I used to love that.
Well, my cooker or person that's got to cook is Braden Trindle. He did it last week against the Cowboys for the Sharks. He took so much pressure off Nicho Hynes. I think Nicho does need a bigger game and a more influential game, which we'll talk about in a little moment. But the way Trindle was orchestrating the band, he was that head chef. He took over the kicking game. For me, he had the 6 on his back, but he was playing 7. Like he was playing scrum half. He was both sides of the field. If the Sharks are a chance, there's a few players that need to play well, but Trindle needs to reproduce what he's done so far. If they're even going to go close to Penrith,
Yeah.
it's on him.
I actually had Josh King because I think if you look at the Roosters forward pack, it's so star-studded. Like every single one of those players is an absolute gun. And obviously on paper, like you look at the names in Melbourne Storm, there's not many like superstar forwards in that team. But Josh King's going to have a huge task going up against the Roosters. And I think that's like Chi said, that's probably where the game's going to be won, in the middle there.
Yeah, I'm with you, Charlie. I like that. Well done. Well, that's all thanks to my muscle chef, fueling everybody, every goal. Let's get stuck into the first final, the Storm against the Roosters. Charlie pointed it out. The Storm have won 10 of their past 11 games against the Roosters. Oh, it doesn't make for good reading, but I've got a bit of an alternative theory on this. Like the Roosters' record against the Storm and Penrith, I think it shows that those two big clubs like the Storm and the Penrith Panthers, when they play against the Roosters, they switch on. Like, I think they don't approach that. They approach that game differently. Like, say, for example, the Storm, they had a wobble against the Dragons. That doesn't happen against the Roosters because they're more dialed in. The Penrith Panthers, they had a wobble against the Raiders. That doesn't happen against the Roosters. I feel that when these two teams play the Roosters, they amp up their level of preparation. They amp up their level of focus for the game. And people out there might go, oh, you do that every week. But and you do, and you respect every opposition. But there's some games you have to be more dialed in for. And there's some games that you play where against the top teams that you go, we've got to be on today. And I think, although that record isn't great viewing or reading for the Roosters players, I think it's a mark of respect that they do go up and turn up for those games.
Yeah, I think, well, I've played in, I think, 4 now, 0-4, Owen Craigie. Yeah, and it's every time it's just I've felt like we weren't the better side. But I think the last year in the final we played where Warbrick scored in the last 10 seconds, I think we weren't the better side, but we probably deserved to win that game for the way we fought and hung in there. But it's going to be an interesting game, and like we've already said, I think it's going to be one in the middle. Anything can happen in 80 minutes. I think the last time Roosters played Melbourne in a prelim, they won. So that's not written down here, Charlie.
Well, Tony actually did the rundown today.
Oh, thanks, Tony. Last time they played in a preliminary final was 2019. No, 2019, and Roosters won.
That battle through the middle is going to be so important. And I think it's where the Roosters have the advantage. So you got Jared, Collins, Radley, and then in comes May, Lenu off the bench.
White as well.
I think he's...
Was White not in the team this week?
Oh, is he in the team? I can't remember. I know Siwa Wong's not in the team. White.
No, White's on the bench there, yep.
Yeah, White as well, who's got great footwork in and around the ruck, versus people like King, Nelson, Liero, McDonald, Kamikamitha, Welsh. The advantage is clearly with the Roosters. So it's just whether or not they can take advantage of that. One of the things that we might see is, the Roosters, for all their advantage through the middle, is the Melbourne Storm not to attack through there. Like, why would you take Roosters on through the teeth of them? Personally, I would play it. What they've done before is go after Keary and go after Sandon Smith. And that's going to be the Roosters' biggest challenge, in my opinion, is to factor that in, because what happens when you involve Luke Keary and Sandon Smith in tackles is the rucks get quick. And then that brings into play Harry Grant from 9, Pappenhausen out the back, Munster and Jerome Hughes. So it may look like Melbourne are winning the field position battle, but it's nothing to do with the fact that their forwards getting on top of them through the middle of the field. It's the fact that they'll get quick play the balls through Keary and through Sandon Smith. Yeah,
and that's what they've done every time. I think it doesn't go unnoticed that they hunt Keary. I think when I was at the Storm, it was a big thing. You just put Kafusi on Keary and then get a quick play the ball and work off that. And when the ruck's blown, that's when Melbourne are their best. They've got Harry Grant, who's the best hooker in the world. And he's just directing traffic all the way. As soon as there's a quick one, he's just directing traffic straight through the middle as well. He's not going, let's shift. It's get a quick one, get another quick one, get another quick one. Then we're fatigued. And then that's when it starts. The field position battle, we start losing that. We start getting more tired. And then when they get inside the 20, they've got Hughes, Munster, Pappenhausen and Harry Grant as their spine. It's hard to defend a team with a star-studded spine. Doesn't matter how bad your forward pack is. With a star-studded spine like that, you can find points. And then you've got Warbrick. Ali Katoa's having one of the best seasons he's ever had. And it's just hard. We got to limit the opportunities they have in our 20.
Yeah. Look, Melbourne's edge back rows have been really good, but they're up against Crichton and Tupanua this week. So, again, probably advantage Roosters. No, not probably. Definitely advantage Roosters there. it's just about all the little things that happen before that, because fatigue and playing off the back foot will make any top line player make poor decisions, or make them look silly, or make them look fatigued, or make them look out of sync and not connected. That's the biggest battle for the Roosters. I think you can't afford to beat yourselves with errors. The last big game against Penrith, the fifth set of the game, Daniel Tupou uncharacteristically dropped that ball like pretty much unchallenged. So for the Roosters, they've got to get into that set for set. I think if they do that, they've got a chance, but they've really got to look after Keary and Sandon Smith. Oh, just quickly on the Storm, geez. They're 1-6-7-9, right? They haven't won a comp without Cameron Smith. He was there the last time they won it when you were there, 2020. Do you think there's something driving them to prove to everybody that they can do it without Cam Smith, to come out of that shadow of, the big three players that they had? Like, yes, Cronk and Slater both respectively retired in 2020, but they still had Smith there. And a lot of the glory, and rightly so, goes to Cameron Smith. But when you've got players with the quality of Munster especially, who's dominated Origin series, like, do you feel that would be a driving factor to come out of the shadows by winning the premiership without him?
Yeah, I think, it's spoken about at that club. Just the ability to be such a great side without the big three, and like they're moving forward from those big three players. I mean, it's definitely something that is a focal point, and something that they've probably focused on, like not publicly, but in their own heads. I know Harry Grant would want to win a premiership so bad, and I just think that club, if they get a premiership without Cameron Smith, it'll do great wonders for the club and for Bellamy and his coaching abilities. Like, if they win the comp this year, like, Craig will definitely go down as one of the greatest ever.
Yeah, he's already in the mixer.
Yeah.
Charlie, you as a Roosters fan, you'll be going down to the game.
Doesn't sound like he's a Roosters fan before.
I am a Roosters fan. I grew up a Roosters fan. I'm going to the game. I'm actually going to Melbourne Friday to work the game for Triple M, and then going to the AFL Grand Final as well on Saturday. Wade Graham's hooked me, him and Woodsy up with tickets. Yeah. So that's my main focus this weekend, really, is just having a nice weekend in Melbourne. No, but I think on the Roosters, Victor Radley, I think his shoulder's still nowhere near right as well. Yeah. He only made, I think, like 12 tackles on the weekend. I reckon if you're Melbourne, he's on there. He only played 30 minutes, but if he's on there for 30 minutes, he should be making 30 tackles. I think you got to go. I reckon he went into the dressing sheds just before halftime and then didn't come back out for ages. Like, I know he's tough and everyone applauded the way he played, but he is properly injured. Yeah,
I don't think Melbourne had sacrificed the game plan that's worked before against Roosters just to target Victor in particular. That's the only thing. Like, he will have to get involved.
Because he was carrying his shoulder like the whole game.
Yeah. I think I spoke to him after the game. I think it was sweet until he got off the field, and then it started cooling down. Yeah. And then everything he felt everything, because it was numb as when he was out on the field. But I could tell that he was wincing when he was like playing the ball. It just looked like it was awfully slow to play the ball. But I think he'll be right, and I think Jimmy's right. I don't think they'll target one person. I think what happened with the Cronk situation in 2018, where everything was just around Cronk, and it kind of just worked against us. Everyone else at the Roosters pretty much got a let off, and we all put our focus on Cooper Cronk and his shoulder, and we all know the history of that game. We'll go into that one.
Yeah, the Roosters, I heard Luke Keary on 360 last night, and a multitude of players have spoken about it, and even you, denied that it's been spoken about, but it's the end of the road for Jared, for Luke Keary, Joey Manu, and probably to a lesser extent Suolihi, although he has been there for a number of seasons now. But the first three over a decade of service, Jared's obviously the the most capped Rooster, the emotional scenes, we were all there, as record-breaking game. How much are they tapping into that? Like, they're saying they're not, but they've got to be.
Well, it's hard for me to say because I've been on the bed for the last 6-7 days. But like, it's just something that's always there. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really speak about it too much, but it's every time Joey or Jared speak, it feels a little bit different each time, and I guess that's a part where they'll be tapping into it. But yeah, it's hard for me to say how much is being spoke about. I literally haven't been in a training for last week.
Yeah.
Jared made a massive speech apparently to the forwards before the game on Saturday, and it was an incredible speech. Herculean-esque. Just like revved everyone up deluxe. I didn't realize he was that sort of player, like that would make speech and stuff, because obviously from the outside looking in, he seems more like a softly spoken sort of a guy. So
He's not really a speaker. No, it's usually Boydo that does the talking, and fuck, Boydo's so good. But for him to do a speech like that, it must have been pretty important.
yeah.
I think that speaks volumes to the level of importance. And look, motivation, incentive, reward, it is a big factor in sport. Like, why are you doing this? Like, what's your reason for doing it? And like, that can be it. There's a multitude of research out there that shows that if you can make subtle cues on rewarding performance or why you do things. Like, I read this study that on a VO2 max test, so for our audience that don't know what a VO2 max test is, it's where basically you run until you can't run anymore and you're hooked up to like this oxygen machine. The treadmill will speed up, but also the incline, and you're sort of strapped in and you've got this big mask on, it's measuring all this stuff, and basically the higher your VO2 max score, the fitter you are. And it's actually a big indicator to health span and lifespan. The higher your VO2 max, the more, like,
For longevity and things like
for
that.
longevity, yeah, it's one of the big. Some people might call it a coincidence, but it seems like it backs up. The VO2 max test, it's commonplace, but they did this study, and VO2 max was increased if the administrator of the test was an attractive member of the opposite sex. So for people that say like, oh, these things don't matter, well, like, the small details, that they do matter, and they do drive you to do things. So like, you know, if we're playing a game of 10-pin bowling and we just go for a knockabout, the three of us, if we put $100 in each, we try harder,
Yeah.
and we play better. So the fact that, look, those two trivial examples of how you drive performance, the fact that this could be the Roosters' biggest legends last game is going to drive you to go above and beyond and want to do more. Like, we know there's variation in week-to-week performance in every walk of life, especially in NRL, both players, coaches, officials. If this doesn't drill you in, if this doesn't motivate you, like, and it's not spoken about, like, Trent Robinson would surely want to use this to his advantage. Like, geez, if you're playing, like,
Yeah,
you're lazy.
He already does a lot of speeches like Trent. He already does a lot of speeches that are highly emotional and motivational, and I'm guessing he's done one today or yesterday, and he's definitely going to tap into it. I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be stupid not to, but it's just I can't really comment on it because I haven't been in there.
But if you were playing, you'd be
frothing
looking
it.
at Jared. He's your
I'm
roommate.
frothing at
Like,
the bit just watching it.
yeah, but he's your roommate. Like, you'd be going, this. Let's not make this the last time we room together. When we go into camp before the GF, let's do it there.
Yeah,
Like, you'd be thinking that, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
They all like, it's massive. It's massive for the Roosters. Like, and the more we talk about this, the more I'm starting to think the Roosters are a chance. And because, like, motivation is so important. Everything in life really is mental. And of course, for a prelim final, footy players will say, I don't need any extra motivation.
Yeah.
But little things like that can make a big
Yeah.
difference.
Well, yeah, it does, and that can be the slight edge. Like, like I'm sure Penrith have used it before in the past when they had players like Crichton go, and they'll use it again when they've got Fisher Harrison, Luai leaving, and like, you know, oftentimes asked about like concussion. Why did you want to carry on? It's like, because I don't want to let my mate down.
Yeah.
Like, why do you tie in? Like, because I don't want to let my mate down, and that is huge. And well, why did you play like that? Well, because we didn't want it to be Jared's last game. Will be what is spoken about if the Roosters get the victory.
And it's the most recent players, like Boyd Courtney spoke about, the Roosters didn't get that chance to send him out a winner the way his career ended with the concussions. So this is a big moment. It's Jared. It's not just Jared as well. It's Luke Keary also. These are two iconic Roosters players. You know, won multiple premierships at the Roosters. It's a big game. And also just on the VO2 max thing, I reckon that's definitely correct. Because when I'm in a gym class and I've got like a good looking girl next to me, I'll go a lot harder. A lot harder.
What goes harder?
So that's why you're looking so ripped.
Exactly right, man. Exactly right.
I can't remember the book that I was reading, but they basically spoke about this study and saying like, well, do we bring in more attractive fans to our club? Like, do we
bring attractive coaches in? You know, that's dangerous, risky, but if it motivates, it motivates.
There's so many things that affect performance in the environment, like subtle clues or subtle tricks to help you make decisions, like, you know, the type of food that's out there, or any organization. Well, a lot of the big organizations, culture's a buzzword, but they're doing so much to have invest money and studies into their culture and how to drive performance in all walks of life, but sport especially. So good on you, Charlie.
Who have you got then, mate? You've got Panthers or Roosters?
Oh, Panthers.
Sorry, Storm or Roosters?
Storm or Roosters. Oh, mate, look, I'm starting to convince myself to Roosters, but I just can't. But you know what? The Storm, they've been. It's a whole lot harder to pick than what the line and like Ladbrokes are suggesting, because the Storm, they've had a few wobbles this year at home, and they've had a few games where they've just got home. Canberra, Warriors, they lost to the Dragons, but then
again, I'm not commenting on this one. I can't put the voodoo on my Roosters.
I will say this, Ladbrokes, I reckon they've got the market wrong.
Go on, what do they got?
Storm $1.28.
$28.
28. Huge favourites. Roosters $3.80.
What's the line?
The line is 10.5 points.
I'm getting after Roosters with 10.5.
Yeah, it just shows that the bookmakers obviously think that week off's massive. But the Roosters, I mean, they didn't have an easy game, the Roosters, but it wasn't a really challenging contest.
The Roosters are missing a couple of big name players as well, like
Brandon Smith.
And Sam Walker.
Sam Walker, yeah.
No, respectfully, I'm gonna stick with the Storm.
Okay, all right.
That's not really respectful.
Who are you gonna go?
I'm gonna go with the Storm as well. I'm gonna be close. I reckon you
Roosters
guys.
fan.
Yeah, but I'm not really a Roosters fan anymore.
Yeah,
I've worked in
see?
the league since I was up for like 6-7 years. I couldn't care less if Roosters
Mate,
do
there's
well.
loads of people that have worked in the league for ages.
No, but I've like lost the
everywhere.
passion for the Roosters. Like, I just more root for the storylines. Rugby league's the real winner at the end of the day.
He just likes the drama.
And really, the grand final.
The rugby league soap opera.
The grand final we need as a rugby league fan is Penrith Panthers v the Melbourne Storm. Unfortunately, that's going to be a close contest.
You don't think Roosters v Penrith would be a bigger game?
For like a Sydney audience, but the better game will be
maybe.
Penrith Panthers, Melbourne Storm, I think.
Maybe. Just on that.
Yeah.
It's gonna. The real difficult thing for Roosters and Sharks is, in all likelihood, they'd have to beat the Storm, then the Panthers, or Panthers, then the Storm. Like, and that's
very hard.
Very hard to do. Like, that's the thing. You've got to go. Yeah, and that's why that final that you're talking about is, I guess, is the bigger game. But look, you'd be a fool to write off the Roosters.
Yeah. We're just about to speak about the Panthers. I think the Panthers should go into that game against the Storm if that is the grand final big favourites as well. They won't. I think
we'll cross that bridge next week.
Yeah.
We'll cross that bridge next week. But, geez, I'm assuming you're going.
I'm not saying
like
last week.
Yeah, okay.
If Mad Monday happened, you can't drink at the moment, can you?
No.
It's a shame. Oh, well. No Mad Monday for cheese.
I'm a bit more mature than that now, Charlie.
That's true,
right?
mate. That's true.
My life's not defined by Mad Monday.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, that's right. And you probably can't go on any international holidays or anything, can you, during the off-season?
No.
Great time to get injured, isn't it, the off-season?
Kicking man while he's down. He's made all this effort to come in. His first outing since surgery.
Yeah.
6 days locked in the house.
Shit
He
on my
comes in
face.
It's good. I'm sure all the Roosters boys have got their plane tickets booked. The holidays with the missus planned. Not cheese. But at least you can do the buy around, though.
No, I'm focusing on winning a premiership, all
That's
right?
right. Yeah, that's good.
Well,
Me and Kalyn.
that segues us nicely into the preview for the second game. Nicho Hynes, you speak about not defining you. He's basically said he doesn't think rugby league defines him. Now, it's a fascinating situation for Nicho to be in that. He says something like this, and then there's public commentary around it, which is a strange situation to be in. But I don't know if you get to define what defines you. You don't get to choose what defines you, because I strongly disagree. I think rugby league, NRL, does define Nicho Hynes, and I think in 10, 20 years' time, the name Nicho Hynes comes up, like he was that NRL player, he was that criminal player, and a bloody good one at that. Like, he's a fantastic rugby league player. But I think often we are defined by our occupation, and I don't think you should be ashamed of that. I think it's like, and it's what sets him apart from like the average person. Like, he's a professional athlete, and yes, there's more to life than rugby league. You could argue, or there's more to the person of Nicho Hynes. But I think rugby league would define him. NRL would define him. If you meet someone, hey, what's your name, Brandon? Like, what do you do? Like, tell me about yourself. Like,
yeah, I'm Brandon. Nice to meet you.
yeah. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Brandon.
I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
Carved out of steel.
So
Play for the Roosters.
Oh, play for the Roosters. Well, what? It's taking you 3 sentences to tell me about you. Who are the Roosters? What do they do?
They're an NRL side, you mean?
Oh, right. So
Are you the journo?
So,
Are you James Graham the journo?
yes. You play professional sport. Wow. That's really interesting. No, but like, it's a point of difference. It's what makes you stand out from the crowd.
I don't think he meant like define him. I think it means like define his happiness.
And why can't he not define himself as a footy player?
Because you don't get to define.
But he does do a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, no, but he's not going to be if someone met Nicho Hynes now, you're that guy that does a lot of that mental health stuff work.
Well, they might. You never know. What about Bo Ryan? I reckon a lot of people forget he was a footballer. If you're just a random, not a footy fan, you'd be like, oh, he's the TV host. He's the Amazing Race host. He's the Top Gear host, whatever he's hosting these days.
Well, what defines him then? He's a host.
He's a host, yeah.
Yeah. He's a host.
Yeah.
So it's a profession. They're not talking about him like whatever else he does.
No.
He's defined by the role that he does.
But why do you have to be defined by anything?
Well, you don't have to, but it's just is what it is, Charlie.
Yeah. I think you're thinking too deeply into this as well.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Like, it's probably a throwaway comment. It's probably a throwaway comment in a press conference. He's asked him, he's like, well, football doesn't define me, which is good. You shouldn't make your profession define you. Find other things in life.
Like what?
Like family, friendship, love.
Yeah, I think he meant like, all right, it doesn't define his happiness. Because I think when they were asking him, it was like, oh, how does it?
Yeah. I understand maybe like, but I reckon rugby league defines all our moods and all our like. All right,
yeah, but not Nicho's. See,
no, well, I just don't think it's possible to not be affected by the game.
Can someone define someone else's defining? Are you allowed to do that?
Yeah, no, I don't think you are.
Can you define someone else's what they define happiness?
Well, any player I've met and been a part of a club with, like, their mood is totally affected by the result. The environment of training.
But that's not what Nicho's saying. It isn't as well. Nicho's not saying I'll be like Nicho. I'm sure if they lose this preliminary final, is going to be gutted.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Filthy.
I know. And again, I appreciate this was a comment made in the press conference, but Nicho standing in the game means we do talk about. I remember speaking to Cam McInnes, and he said, "This is my life's work. What I'm about to do, what I'm doing now is my life's work." And all right, let's say, Cheese, one of your mates. Oh, Cheese, mate, great news, mate. I'm getting married in Waikiki Island next April. Can you come?
Mm.
Can you come?
Yeah, probably.
He'll be injured still, maybe.
Oh, actually, no. Sorry, it's next August. You reckon you can make it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
If I can get there.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you be able to get there? I'm your mate. I'm your best mate. I'm getting married in
Because I
Waikiki.
might have to play.
Oh, really? Why? Why is that? Come on, this football thing
Because
doesn't
I'm
define
basically
you.
one of the best players in the team. They need me.
Well, Grayson Waller doesn't think so. Mate, come on.
28th best.
Come on, mate. Like, we're all about love and happiness, mate. If this sport thing is nothing, just book it off.
Yeah,
Just book some time
But
off.
you
It doesn't
can't.
matter.
You actually can't get the leave,
Why?
can you?
No,
Because
you
the
can't.
rules, the club
Because
wouldn't let
it
you have the
define-
leave.
Well, why
it doesn't
why are
define
you defined by this?
Like, so I can go, in my world, I can go to a wedding, even though I work for just basically 6 months of the year. That's kind of all I work for, is 6 months of the year during the footy season. But I can still get a weekend away.
Yeah.
So I've got a wedding next in March.
I've got a wedding during pre-season. I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good job it's not in season.
Yeah, pre-season is pretty important. Well, it's my sister's wedding though, so I'd probably dog a game for my sister's wedding.
So I think it's just interesting that, like, I've been thinking quite a lot about like life, meaning, purpose, all that recently, and we're different. We are different things to different people. Like, to some people, I'm my kid's dad.
Yeah,
like that's who I am.
Yeah,
or whatever. But I don't know. I don't think it's something to be ashamed of, being like defined by your sport.
No, of course not. But like that, and Nicho Hynes will always be the rugby league player. He'll always be a rugby league player. But there's not to say that he doesn't find other areas of his life that enrich him.
Yeah, and fulfill it. Yeah, of course. Most
and that's
people do.
what he probably means.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
But like, it depends who you are to him as well. Like,
yeah,
he's not Nicho, the rugby league player, to me.
yeah, exactly. Well, there you
Nicho,
go.
my best mate.
Yeah,
That through rugby league.
Well, I knew him before.
yeah. You're too obsessed with this like rugby league thing.
You're
to
obsessed
some,
with rugby league.
You know,
It's so weird.
like a kid might watch you on television now, and not even know you're a footy player, even though you've
Actually,
only
knew
retired
him.
a few years.
I actually knew him
So-
as a touch.
Oh, did you? Not fair
It
enough.
was touch player. Nicho, the touch player.
Also, I don't think about you as a footy player.
Yeah,
Like when we're doing this now, I'm not thinking like, oh, Jimmy Graham, that rugby league guy. Even though we're sitting here talking about rugby legue, like you're not defined as
Jimmy
that to
Graham,
me.
my boss.
You could have played 0 rugby league games. To me, it doesn't matter. Do you understand? I'm not defining you in my head as a rugby league player.
You're not. Yeah, I know, Charlie, because
I define you as that annoying bastard who I see every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the most immediate response. You're Jimmy, the guy that picked me up for work this morning.
Charlie's just annoyed because I've been ultimate pest mode at Triple M lately, and he's not enjoyed it.
Are we previewing the Panthers Sharks? Are we going to do that now?
We should.
Into a Jimmy Graham special.
Yeah. Have the Sharks got any chance? That's what we're wondering. Spoke with Toby Rudolph just outside, just sort of probing the streets.
I actually just had a massive stuff up with him as well. I was talking to everyone, and I was like, oh, well, what's going to be? It's obviously going to be Panthers Storm Grand Final. And then he looks at me and he's like, what? And I was like, oh, sorry, mate. Sorry, I didn't mean that, but probably that's what it's going to be.
Well, they know that's what everyone's thinking.
Yeah, like he said, all the pressure's on the Panthers. There's no pressure on the Sharks. Yeah, it's going to be a hard game. The history doesn't read well as well. Outscored 70-0 in their past 2 clashes. That's pretty big.
You've got everything to gain, nothing to lose. But like, how do the Sharks win this game, Cheese? Like, you can't just go and hope the Penrith Panthers have an off day.
Well, they can't start the way Roosters did against Panthers.
And they can't start the way the Sharks did against the Storm.
Yeah.
dropping off the kick-off.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough ask. They need more than just skill to get them through the game. Like they need Panthers to play reasonably bad. They can't get any bad calls. Like it needs to be pretty much a perfect storm for them to be quite honest.
Do you think, with the current climate of refereeing and putting the whistle away, no 6 agains, people might not like to hear this, but do the Sharks just go in and completely take the piss when it comes to ruck control, when it comes to half a yard offside, when it comes to... Okay, one of the strengths of Penrith is front load their defensive energy, limit your meters, you kick long, but now with the downtime rule, their back three make a heap of meters. But the NRL at the start of the season said, look, we're going to look to penalise and get this downtown out of the game. And they did for a little while. We haven't seen a downtime penalty for a long time. The referees, for me, it's been clear they've been instructed to put the whistle away. If I'm the Sharks, I'm getting Trindle to kick the ball long in yardage, and I'm on my bike, I'm in front of the play the ball, because you can't envisage the referee blowing a downtime penalty in a prelim final when there's not been one blown for ages after they've been told to put the whistle away.
I don't know. You're questioning the integrity of the referees there.
No, I'm just saying I'm not. I'm saying that if I'm a team like the Sharks, like, I don't think you can go set for set with the Panthers and get the win. No. I think you've got to do something.
I think the Panthers do it well, though. I think they already push the boundaries on how long they can hold you down for, and they've been in this situation so many times.
Well, that's it. The Panthers, nothing changes. So their try line defense, how they gain an extra half second or a second is, instead of being like north-south, like facing the try line, they often put you at like different angles. So when you get up to play the ball, you have to spin back to your front or step to your front, which takes half a second. But it's just a little advantage that they get. And they do it so well because they make it look clean. A lot of it is in the visuals. So the referee
watch them. How many times a Panthers player, like when they're getting up to play the ball, a Panthers player's got their hand just on the back of the neck, and like it's so frustrating as well when someone's got, because you can't actually do anything. It's like you're so vulnerable,
and it's so.
But subtle. Watch how many times they do it. Like Fisher Harris does it so many times. Obviously, it's a practice thing, but. That's the millisecond things.
Yeah, so that's what Penrith Panthers do so well. But if you're the Sharks, you do change and you go, well, we're going to test this referee, and like we're gonna get extra time by just staying on longer. I think that's the way the Sharks.
And you've got to do it through different periods, because the first 10 minutes, the referees are going to be really onto that, I reckon, in these two games, because of all the talk about the referees. The first 10 minutes, they're going to set the tone. But you got to come back to that, because the referee's not going to be wanting to blow the whistle throughout the whole game. So you can't just like go, oh, this is the way it's going to be for the rest of the game. You got to keep on doing that, keep on taking risks.
Yeah, you do that. Like, look, the Sharks need to be almost perfect in terms of their completion rate. They certainly can't beat themselves, but they're going to have to.
The thing is, though, about Penrith as well, Jimmy, sorry to talk over the top of you then, is Penrith is so tactical with everything they do. So if the Sharks are up for the game, Panthers will play the game of just kicking the corners and just keeping things safe, and they'll keep doing that, and they'll keep doing that until the Sharks make a mistake, because they'll back themselves in to win playing that style as well as playing their own normal style that they play. Yeah,
you're right, Charlie. Like, it's the Panthers are absolutely incredible, and they have different ways to win games. We saw them chase down Parramatta. Again, if I was Coach Fitzgibbon, I'd be looking at the sort of game plan of attack from Parramatta in order to score so many points and seemingly break them down. If you maybe look at a slight mismatch, do you go Ramey and Iro over Alamotti and Tango?
Yeah.
Like, maybe.
And which side is Mulatalo on? Because Mulatalo's so good in the air, and then it's Taruva and Toto are a bit smaller wingers.
Yeah.
You know.
That's maybe it, where you make... I think
and you need those low crossfield kicks where they can't scramble all their defenders over to stop it.
Yeah, if the Sharks are going to win, got to be as close to perfect as possible. They've got to rattle Penrith, get them off their game, take advantage of the referees, and then have those. But I think, again, going back to Nicho, like people are looking for a big performance for him, not because he's the $1 million player, not because he's the star player of the Sharks, but because he's done it before. He's done it at the Sharks before. He's played big games, and he's done it at Melbourne Storm where he's played big games. That's why people are looking to him to come up with these big moments. And I think, he's got it within his capabilities. They're not asking him to, or people aren't expecting him to do anything that he's not capable of doing. But he'll have to do more than what he did in the previous games for the Sharks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think he was pretty quiet on the weekend, but he just got through his progressions.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much his injury is affecting him still, because if I found it strange for Trindle to be taking over so much of the kicking.
Yeah.
Obviously he was good off the boot, off the tee, but I feel like there's something there's something just holding him a little bit back, and I don't know if that ankle's still sore or something like that, but I think he's not 100%. I know that.
And speaking of injuries, Cleary's only played one game.
Yeah.
How he looked perfect. So that storyline's just gone completely.
Yeah.
But he's played one game since coming back from that injury.
His approach in that one game, though, was like all in.
I know, he was perfect.
And he was like hitting lines, taking runs that he's done before, but he seemed...
He seemed to want to go for it even more.
Yeah.
Like, he put it all on the line, risk it all.
Yeah.
Like
when Luai went across the field, dropped the edge back row underneath, it was Cleary hitting the hole. Like, which, if you've got a bad shoulder, you think, I'll hold back. But, you don't know. Like, this, it could be susceptible. Edwards, again, like, that knee injury still seems to be a slight issue. So, I think if you're the Sharks, like, you're in that dressing room, you're the Cam McInneses, you're the Toby Rudolphs, you're the Brayleys, you're Nickera, you're Teague Wiltons, Jack Williams, you're saying, like, boys, let's, like, just fucking go off. Let's just go off. Start the game. Like, let's just see how long we can hold on in for. And we'll just put them off their game. We've got to go toe-to-toe with them.
They just need something to fall their way as well. They're going to need luck to win. Like, if you think about the first two carries of the Roosters game where two Manly players get knocked out, I reckon Sharks are, like, they need something like that to happen.
Yeah, maybe. Like,
they need injuries. They need, like, Panthers too.
Yeah.
They need something extra.
Yeah.
It is hard to see past a Panthers victory, though. It really is.
And I'll be going for the Sharks.
Oh, yeah.
You think Sharks will win?
Nah.
Panthers.
I think the Panthers will win it. Hopefully I'll put the voodoo on them.
I think Panthers win this big, and I think Panthers win the grand final big.
Big?
Yeah, big.
I don't reckon.
Yeah, I reckon they do. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think, I'm going to reserve.
I think if Melbourne beat Roosters, Melbourne beat Panthers.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to reserve judgment. I want to see what happens. Like, a week's a long time. Like, again, you speak about injuries. Like, look what happened to the Roosters. Walker, Cheese, Radley. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, that can happen. These are two
just not any other club but the Roosters, apparently.
These are like
4 years in a row they've had two ACLs in the same game.
Yeah.
4 years in a row. That's fucked.
It is. Cheese. All right. So, I think that's everything, isn't it? We got the wrestling coming up.
Yep. You can buy tickets for that as well.
Yeah.
Go get tickets for that. October 13, you're going to be on.
Yeah.
Also, Grayson Waller's actually going to be there.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he really?
Grayson Waller's there, yeah.
Yes.
He'll be able to, are you going to get a spray tan as well? I know we discussed that.
No.
You got to get a spray tan. It's
Why do I
wrestling.
have to get a spray tan?
What's your name?
The British
Ginger
Bulldog.
Nut. Oh,
The British Bulldog.
You're not going to get a spray tan.
Why would I get a spray tan?
All the wrestlers get spray
The
tans.
British
don't.
Bulldog.
Yeah.
Sheamus doesn't get a spray tan.
Oh, but do you want to be like Sheamus or do you want to be like Batista or Ric
No.
Flair? You want to be like Sheamus?
No, I just want to be
Sheamus
me.
gets a spray tan. It's just a fucking white.
I just want to be
He's
me.
just white out.
Why don't you be you?
Are you going to come today?
When is it?
October 13.
Oh,
Put your
maybe. Probably.
We'll have to get special seating for Cheese.
Yeah, I don't know.
I might be in Vegas
Yeah, you won't
with
be
the
in
boys.
Vegas. You won't be going to Vegas.
No, trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me, this fucker can get to Vegas.
Mate, the buy round comes first as well.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
need you here.
Priorities.
as well.
Vegas, I'm telling you.
All right. Well, that just about wraps us up. Oh, by the way, everyone, please, if you do like what you're listening to, please rate us, give us a review, and subscribe. It really does help support the podcast. We really do appreciate that. So thanks, Cheese. We'll get you home now. And thanks, Charlie. I'm going to go and have to speak to Jordan about what it was he was telling me on Friday night, because I do remember your reaction being like, oh, don't say that. But then...
Yeah, well, because I did a favour for him and then he was using it against me, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, that is really doing my head in.
I went out of my way. Anyway, it's not discussed now. You're going to have to figure out in your own time.
That's what alcohol does to you. It zaps your memory.
Certainly does.
Bloody hell. Oh, well. All right. We'll catch everyone next week. Enjoy the football.